Hey everyone, Connie here, and buckle up because this is probably going to be a longer video as we are going to be ranking all Pokemon. Every Pokemon that has been released for all 8 generations. Um, we're going to be using the Tier Maker website to do this, so yeah. Um, I am not going to be counting Mega Evolutions or anything like that because it's really just like an upgraded form of a Pokemon, but I will be counting like regional variants as they do change them up enough, not just in design, but in terms of typing and everything and usability. And that's what these are mostly going to be based on. They're going to be based on aesthetic because that I do take that into account when I like determine whether or not I like a Pokemon. But I'm going to be counting usability and battle and whatnot from my experience as well. Um, so I'm not going to go through and explain like every single one. A lot of it is going to be due to like its aesthetic, its appearance, because that is the big thing for me at least. Um, Sometimes I might count in lore, like not like lore either in how the Pokemon was created or in terms of its in-game lore, but that's very rare that I'll count in that stuff because usually that stuff doesn't matter to me and how I decide to pick it. There's only a couple that will, and it's like I'll probably mention it when they do. Anyway, let's get this going. So let's bring up the window, which I will have to adjust. I kind of figured I would have to. Yeah, we're going to start with Generation 1 and go all the way to Generation 8, the current one. Okay, that should be good. So sorry you can't see my face during this part, but it's like we're going to focus on the Pokemon. So like I said, I'm not going to count Mega Evolutions. It's just I don't think there's enough of a change there to really count them. But let us begin with what we have. So let's start with Bulbasaur. Also, every Pokemon from a line aren't necessarily going to be in the same ranking. Bulbasaur, I was always just kind of met on. I never hated Bulbasaur. So I know a lot of people didn't like Bulbasaur, and there's a lot of people who really do. But I was always kind of meh. So I'm gonna put Bulbasaur as a C. Ivysaur I did not like as much as Bulbasaur, but it's still kind of a meh. So I'll put Bulbasaur after or Ivysaur after Bulbasaur. Venusaur I never could get into using it especially, so I'm putting Venusaur as a D. Charmander. Charmander I always liked. From its usability to its design, but it was never one of those that was like amazing to me or anything, so I'll put it as a B. Charmeleon felt like a downgrade, especially in terms of design. Plus, I don't like how for Charmeleon it goes to a darker red and then goes back to the same shade of orange for Charizard. That always really threw me off. So Charmeleon I put in C above Bulbasaur. Charizard though is definite A tier, like not even a question. Charizard has always been one of the best final evolutions for a starter line, and just really looks cool. Even if it's not actually a dragon, it's just really cool to have that dragon aesthetic nonetheless. Squirtle was always my go-to starter in Generation 1. Squirtle, its design, its usability is just always top-notch. S tier. Hard S tier. Wartortle always felt like a great follow-up to Squirtle. The color change, unlike with uh, Charmander, in my eyes, really worked for the Squirtle line, especially since it kept it through to its final evolution, which is Blastoise. Blastoise would be an A tier under Charizard. I do like Charizard more than Blastoise, um, but overall, I like the Squirtle line better, obviously. So now we get into the non-starters for Generation 1. Caterpie. Caterpie just, I don't care for Caterpie like at all. It's a D tier for me. Metapod is practically the more useless Caterpie. Metapod is definitely a lower D tier, but not quite F. For me, an F tier has to be something that I really just do not like, and we'll get to those. Butterfree was it would probably be a C tier for me. It's a lot better than its previous evolutions, but it's still just it's kind of meh to me. As for where I would place it between Bulbasaur and Ivysaur. Weedle is the worst Caterpie, like no joke. Weedle is definitely the worst Caterpie, so I would put that before or between Caterpie and Metapod, and Kakuna is the worst Metapod. So Beedrill, however, is actually in my eyes better than Butterfree, and always has been. I would actually put Beedrill above Bulbasaur. Pidgey, the Pidgey line I've always liked. So I would start by putting Pidgey as a high C tier because at that stage it's still just not as good as what it's about to become. Pidgeotto, though, A tier, if I can drag it. There we go. Pidgeotto would be A tier, but still under Blastoise. It's really damn good. Um, Easily just a great early route Pokemon to work with. And Pidgeot, I would put between Charizard and Blastoise. It's just really damn good, especially in Generation 1. Um, just a great partner to have with you throughout the entire game, really. Rattata. Rattata is probably kind of the same thing with me and Caterpie and Weedle. It's just like it's just not that great, like pretty much at all. But it is better than Caterpie and Weedle for me, so I would put it after Venusaur. Raticate Raticate was one of those Pokemon that it's just like, okay, after Rattata evolves, it's gonna be something good, right? Not really. Raticate has like it's a little better than Rattata, but not by enough. So I just put it right above Rattata there. It just feels like it's not that big of an improvement at all. Spearow is the lesser Pidgey by far. Um, but I always kind of liked Spearow's aesthetic for some reason, so I would probably put it in the C tier under Beedrill. Fearow, I've never liked Fearow. I never like at all liked Fearow. I would put Fearow between Rattata and Caterpie. Because it's not like outright terrible. And it doesn't feel useless, but at the same time, it's just like it just never did it for me. Ekans, the Ekans line, I might be in the minority here, but I've actually always liked the Ekans line, and I've always found a lot of use for them. So Ekans, I would actually put as a B tier. I'm not even kidding, under Charmander still, but and Arbok, I would also say is a B tier, but above Charmander. Pikachu has always felt very overrated to me. Um, but I would still put it in B tier because it has been useful in battle from my experience. I would put it below Charmander though. I've never really understood what the fascination with Pikachu has been. Um, Raichu is definitely lesser and just doesn't feel like that much of an upgrade to where it's necessary evolution. So I would put this in C tier, right above Beedrill. The Sandshrew line. Oh God, I love the Sandshrew line. Sandshrew easy S tier. As for exactly where I'd place it, I probably actually like Sandshrew more than the Squirtle line. Like, not even joking. Just personal tastes. Sandslash would be an A tier and probably at the bottom currently. Um, because I don't like it as much as Sandshrew, but it's definitely really up there. And I've always really liked using the Sandshrew line as well. The Nidoran lines. Starting with Nidoran female, definite A tier. Nidoran female is definite A tier, and I would say is up there between Charizard and Pidgeot. And that might seem weird to some of you, but I have just always adored the female Nidoran line. Just always been really up there for me in Generation 1. And in recent years, it's actually increased even more. admittedly partially due to Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. When I was playing that, I just gained a new, like an even greater love for the line. So, Nidorina specifically, high S tier, my favorite so far. I adore Nidorina. Nidoqueen, funny enough, I don't like as much. In fact, if I would have it my way, I just wouldn't evolve Nidorina, which I mean I can do. You need a Moonstone, so um, Nidoqueen just doesn't do it for me as much. I feel like it's a little much in its design, and it's definitely an upgrade from Nidorina in terms of its usability in battle and stuff, but I just don't like it as much. Um, I would put that as a lower A tier. The male Nidoran line. Male Nidoran would probably also be lower A tier. Nidorino would be above Nidoqueen, but Nidoking would probably be under Charmander. Nidoking, just like Nidoqueen, never did it for me, but even less so. It just never did it for me. It just felt way too much. The Clefairy line. Clefairy line has just always kind of been very meh for me. So I would probably put Clefairy under Bulbasaur, and Clefable I would actually put as under Venusaur. Vulpix line. I've always liked the Vulpix line. I've always thought they were really cute. So Vulpix I would probably put as an A tier, probably above Nidorino. And Ninetales would probably be right after Vulpix. Because Vulpix I always definitely liked more. Jigglypuff, always kind of the same thing as Clefairy, just never really saw that much appeal. But I always liked Jigglypuff more, admittedly, because of the anime, how it portrayed it. So Jigglypuff I would put as under Ekans. And Wigglytuff I actually never liked that much, but I would put it still above Raticate. The Zubat line. I can't argue with the memes and everything. Zubat's annoying as hell. Zubat would actually be my first F tier. Um, it's annoying as hell. It's not that useful in battle. Granted, once it turns into Golbat, like Golbat, high A tier. I would put it above Nidoran. High A tier. Golbat is just really damn good. Let me make sure to see. Yeah, everything's still showing up fine. Just wanted to make sure it was still centered properly on the screen. Okay, so Oddish. Oddish was another one that was always kind of meh for me. So I would put that above Clefairy but below Bulbasaur. There we go. Gloom, I actually like Gloom. I actually really do like Gloom. I would put it high B tier above. Uh, oh my gosh, my mind blanked there. Not Ekans, but Arbok. That's it. And Vileplume, I would probably put just under Gloom. I never liked Vileplume as much as Gloom, but it's okay. Paris. Oh, I love the Paris line. I'm not a big bug type fan, but I do love the Paris line. Paris though would probably be under Ninetales, and Parasect would probably be before Ninetales. I would say would be pretty accurate. Venonat, never a fan of the Venonat line. Not really hated them, just kind of meh for me. Venonat, I would probably put before Oddish, and Venomoth would probably be the bottom of the C tier at the moment. Diglett line, kind of the same thing, just never could get into them. Uh, Diglett, I would put after Bulbasaur. Dugtrio. Dugtrio, I would put in the D line. It's just three fucking Diglets. It's such a lazy ass design. Meowth, I would probably put in B tier, and I would put it just above Nidoking. Persian, I would put above Charmander, though. I love cats. I love cats, so it's like Persian is just a great cat design, but that also makes it feel like a Pokemon as well. So it's like I've always liked the design, but it's admittedly not amazing in battle. So I think that's a fair point to put it. Psyduck, I've always had a thing for Psyduck. Psyduck is it's like hell yeah, you go, you crazy little duck dude. So I'd put that under Vulpix. Golduck never felt like a good enough upgrade to me, so I'm actually gonna put that at the bottom of A tier. Mankey was always a go-to in Generation One, always. I would actually put Mankey as S tier, and Primeape I would put just below Blastoise. No, below Blastoise. There we go. Because Primeape is a really good evolution for Mankey. They don't look too much different, admittedly, but just in terms of its upgrade, how it upgrades from Mankey, it really makes it feel worth it. And it's a great fighting type. Um, just admittedly. Growlithe, always like huge Growlithe fan. I even used Growlithe in my playthrough of Pokemon Shield. Growlithe is number two. And Arcanine, I would put Arcanine between Sandshrew and Squirtle. I love the Growlithe line like really badly. I've always loved the Growlithe line. Poliwag, I would probably put in the C line, and I'm thinking between Venonat and Oddish. Poliwhirl it was major upgrade to Poliwag, but I'd still only put it just between Charmeleon and Raichu. And Poliwrath would probably be at the top of C tier because it's an upgrade, but not as good for me. And the design just it's an angry Poliwhirl. Abra would definitely be an upper B tier. I would say top of the B tier at the moment. Kadabra, definite A tier, though. Kadabra, I would even put above Pidgeotto. And Alakazam, top of the A tier. Alakazam was one of the strongest Pokemon in Generation 1. No doubt. And honestly, I love its design. I love the entire line's designs. So yeah, I would put Alakazam there. Machop, I would say, is a B tier. But I would say it's a high B tier. I'd say it's underneath Abra. Let me see if I can bring this down a little bit without messing it up too much on the screen for you guys. That should be fine. Machoke. Machoke I felt was a little bit of a downgrade, so I would put under Arbok. And Machamp I thought was better than Machoke. So I would put Machamp after Gloom. But I still liked Machop the most. Bellsprout is one of those Pokemon it's like you don't think about often, but it's like I always used Bellsprout. Always. Bellsprout would actually be A tier for me and probably just after Psyduck. Weeping Bell would probably be Weeping Bell would also be after Psyduck, but before Bellsprout. And Victory Bell, its design is a little weird to me, so I would put it after Parasect. But I still love the line overall, and I always used them in the early generations. Tentacool's an F tier. It's better than Zubat, but that's not hard to do. I never liked Tentacool. I always thought it was kind of worthless, and it just felt like a weak water type to me. Tentacruel is a lot better, major upgrade. But even so, I still only see it as a C tier, and only the top of the C. Well, at the top of the C tier still, but Geodude, I would say is bottom C tier. I would put it specifically just after Ivysaur. And Graveler was an upgrade for sure, but I still feel like I would only put it after Poliwag. Golem, I hate Golem. I hate its design. I've never liked Golem's design, and I felt like it wasn't a big enough upgrade after Graveler in terms of its usability. So I would actually put Golem D tier. I'm going to actually turn the zoom down a little bit. There we go. That should help. Because that way you'll be able to see everything again. Ponyta line, always one of my favorites. Always used it in the original generations, just like the Aber line, just like the Bellsprout line, and so on and so forth. Ponyta and the Growlithe lines, I always kind of debated which one I was going to use each time, but I always used one or the other. Ponyta, I'm a brony. I'm a Pegasister, so you should know I always like the pony kind of thing. So I would put that S tier for Ponyta after Arcanine. Rapidash, I would put A tier though, and I would put that after Nidoran. No, after Nidoran. And I think I'm gonna have to zoom out again. Oh yeah, that really zooms it out because you guys can still see it all fine, and you've been following along. So yeah, Slowpoke. I would put as an upper B tier, above Machop but below Abra. And Slowbro, I would put after Gloom. The Magnemite, I never got into Magnemite that much, but I don't like dislike it, so I would put it C tier, and I would probably put it just under Pidgey. Magneton, again, just one of those really lazy designs where it just combines a bunch of the previous Pokemon, just like Doug Trio. Except it's a little more interesting than Doug Trio, so I'll put it top of the D tier. Farfetch'd, never liked Farfetch'd. I never liked it in battle, never liked its design. Bottom of the D tier. It's not a Pokemon I hate, but I don't like it. Doduo I always thought was kind of cute, but not like to the level of other Pokemon. I would put it bottom of the B tier. Um, Probably just before Jigglypuff. Dodrio, never really got into Dodrio, so I'd probably put it after Charmeleon. Seal, I adore its design, but its usability in battle is just kind of okay. It's not bad. It's just kind of okay. So Seal, I would also be that would also be one of my upper B tiers. I'd probably put it between Slowpoke and Machop. Dugong, Dugong didn't feel like enough of an upgrade, and its design, while also really cute, just it wasn't as good as it could have been. I'll put it right after Seal though. Grimer, I'm one of Grimer's another one that's kind of like a surprise hit for me. I've just always liked Grimer. So Grimer is actually upper B tier for me, and I would put it between Slowpoke and Seal. Muck, however, I was never as a fan of. I would rather just not evolve Grimer. It's not as cute, and honestly, it makes the overall design look gross instead of cute. So I would put Muck under Beedrill. Shelder, uh, the Shelder line never did it for me. I would say D tier. It's just in terms of aesthetic and usability, just never could do it for me. But it's high D tier at least. I'll put it under Magneton. And Cloyster would probably be under Venusaur. The Ghastly line I always kind of liked. Never used them that much, but I always liked them. I always enjoyed them. Ghastly, I would probably put between Seal and Dugong. Haunter, I would put after Nidorino in the A tier. Gengar is great. Gengar is like the best of the line for sure, and I would put it um, between Psyduck and Weeping Bell. Onyx, I hate Onyx. I think it's just not that good in battle, and I really just don't like its design. But it's better than Tentacool and Zubat. Move down here, Tentacool. Drowsy would probably be a C for me, higher C tier. It's another one that just never did it. Same with Hypno. Drowsy's a little cuter than Hypno though. So Hypno would probably be just above Muck. Next, we have the Krabby line. The Krabby line is another line that I just never could get into for the life of me. Um, so Krabby, I would probably say would be just under Bulbasaur. And Kingler just felt like a bigger Krabby. It just never felt like a good enough upgrade. I would put Kingler at the bottom of C tier. Voltorb is a I would put Voltorb just below Raticate. Voltorb's not that amazing in battle, not like absolutely trash, but I hate its design. I think it has one of the laziest designs in all of Pokemon. And Electrode, just as bad, if not worse. Electrode's actually really just unsettling and unnatural looking to the point, like unnatural as a Pokemon, too. So I would actually put Electrode even further down, still before the bugs, though. Execute, I don't like Execute pretty much at all. That's just above Tentacool in the F tier. Executor, I would put up in the D tier, though. Executor is a little better. A little more creative, a little more interesting, and a little more usable in battle. I would put Executor above Golem. Cubone, gotta love Cubone. You have to love Cubone. Cubone is easy S tier. As for where I would place it, probably between Arcanine and Ponyta. Marowak always felt like just not enough of an upgrade. Another one of those. Let's be honest, Generation 1 had that problem a lot. Marowak, I would put in A tier, and I would put it. I'd probably put it just before Parasect. Hitmonlee, definite top B tier. Like, that's not even a question for me. In fact, I put it right at the top of the B tier. Hitmonchan, right around the same. Like, everyone like has one of the two that they like more. And I always liked Hitmonlee more. But I do love Hitmonchan. And I would put him right under Slowpoke. Lickitung is trash. Lickitung is F tier, just above Tentacool. Lickitung is trash in battle, and it's a terrible design. It's so stupid. Coughing, I would put as a lower C tier, just above Venonat. But Wheezing is at the very bottom. Wheezing is just terrible. Rhyhorn, Rhyhorn, I would put as the very top of the C tier at the moment, with Rhydon under Pidgey. Chansey is bottom D tier. Chansey is just, it's annoying. Even using it, it's annoying. Because it's all defensive. It's like nothing else, and its design, it just doesn't do it for me. So I'd put it between Electrode and Caterpie. Tangela, I would put probably mid C tier, probably right before Venonat. Kangaskhan, also kind of mid C tier, but a little better. I kind of always liked Kangaskhan's like little pouch and marsupial like aesthetic. I guess you would call it that. I'd put it between Muck and Hypno. Horsey. I always liked Horsey. I thought Horsey was cute, but it was never great in battle. So I would put Horsey as upper B tier, probably just after Seal. No, after Seal. Seadra is a beast, though. Seadra has always been a beast in battle, and its design is really cool. I would put Seadra above Victory Bell. You know what? No, I'd even put it further than that. I'd put it above Weeping Bell. Goldeen is it sucks. Let's be honest. Its design is really just ridiculously dumb. It's not interesting at all, and it's just not good in battle. Um, I would put Goldeen though in the mid D tier. I would put it uh above Voltorb. Sea King is trash. Sea King is utter trash, and it's below Electrode. Um, Staryu is definitely the better alternative to the Goldeen line. So Staryu would be upper C tier, and I'd probably put it right at no after Rhyhorn. Starmie is before Rhyhorn though. Mr. Mime, I've never been unnerved by Mr. Mime like some people, but I've never also loved it or anything. It's just kind of there for me. I would put that as like probably right after Raichu. Scyther is one of the best bug Pokemon, hands down. I would say Scyther is just after Golbat. Electabuzz, I always liked Electabuzz, but I wouldn't put it like very tippy top. I'd probably put it between Haunter and Nidoqueen. Jinx, I don't like Jinx. I don't. I never saw the like racist thing that some people saw with Jinx, but it's like I just never liked it anyway. I always thought its design was kind of ugly, and I always thought that it was not that great in battle. I would put Jinx as a D tier, and I would actually say lower D tier, but it's still better than Electrode. um, Trying not to have to zoom out again, you know. Um, you guys can see it all on the screen, except what's coming next. So I'll just say what's coming next as I have been, because I can still see it down there. Next is Magmar. Magmar would be upper C tier for me, probably above Rhyhorn. Pinsir is the less good Scyther, but is still pretty damn good. I would put Pinsir um, probably below Ninetales, so just before Paris. Tauros, never liked Tauros. I felt its design was always just too lazy, and I just never thought it was that great in battle. But I don't dislike it as much as others, so I would put it top of the D tier. Magikarp is bottom of the F tier. Magikarp is the most worthless, most just unlikable Pokemon in Generation 1 for me. I've never liked Magikarp. Um, Gyarados is an upgrade, but not enough. I've actually never been that big of a Gyarados fan either. But I would still put it in C tier, but I would put it between Hypno and Kangaskhan. I know a lot of people like Gyarados, so that might be an unpopular one, but it's like I've never just been that big of a fan. Lapras, I've always liked though. Lapras would be A tier for sure, but I would probably put it between Bellsprout and Marowak. Ditto, Ditto is literally only good for breeding. Outside of that, it's one of the most worthless Pokemon and just one of the most unenjoyable to look at. It's just so unsettling. Ditto is always one of those Pokemon I just never saw the appeal of because I don't do the breeding. I don't breed Pokemon a lot. I don't do shiny breeding or anything like that. So Ditto is practically worthless to me. F tier. Um, I like it more than Magikarp though. Eevee is S tier. I've always adored Eevee. In terms of placement, I would probably put it after Nidorina though. Vaporeon, my favorite first generation evolution, also S tier. Um, I would put that after. No, I would put that before Eevee, just before Eevee. Jolteon and Flareon both I don't like as much as Vaporeon. Jolteon is definitely better than Flareon though. I would put Jolteon between Lapras and Marowak, and I would put Flareon between Pinsir and Paris. Porygon never saw the appeal. Porygon I would probably put. It's just kind of meh for me because it does have some usability in battle. So I would put it after Charmeleon before Dodrio. The fossil Pokemon, Ammonite. Ammonite is upper C tier. I would put it behind Staryu, though. And Amistar, I would put probably before Magmar. The Kabuto line, I liked more than the Ammonite line. I know I'm not a praiser of Lord Helix, but I always like the Kabuto line more. Kabuto would probably be bottom B tier just before Jigglypuff, and Kabutops would be between Slowbro and Machamp. Aerodactyl would also be B tier before Nidoking. Snorlax. Snorlax always just was kind of very meh for me. One of those very meh ones. But I liked it more than some other ones that are in my C tier. I would put it above Raichu. Now we get into some legendaries. Articuno. Articuno is my favorite of the Gen 1 legendary birds, so I would put that as A tier. And I would put it just under Pidgeotto, I think. It's also really hard to rate legendaries. Can I just It goes from 50 to 33 and that's a major zoom down. I mean, you guys can still see it and everything mostly, but it's like I guess it'll have to work. Um yeah, I never really use legendaries in battle because I almost feel like it's cheating to do so. Plus, I just never enjoy doing so. But anyways, next we have Zapdos. Zapdos I don't like as much as Articuno, but is still pretty up there. I would put Zapdos under. I would put Zapdos under Electabuzz. And Moltres is definitely my least favorite, but I would put it at upper B tier still. Um, I would put it below Horsey. Dratini, I love Dratini. Dratini is fucking adorable. Dratini, I would put as S tier. And I would probably put it under Sandshrew. No, you know what? Above Sandshrew. Dragonair is majestic as fuck and is definitely a big upgrade for Dratini. So I would put Dragonair between Growlithe and Eevee. Dragonite is a massive downgrade, though. Dragonite is a derpy as fuck thing that just isn't that great in battle, all things considered. And honestly, I just don't like the way it looks that much. So Dragonite, I would still keep an A tier. But between I would put it between Victory Bell and Ninetales. Mewtwo, my favorite legendary. Period. Like not even a question. Mewtwo has always been my favorite legendary. Um, so I would definitely consider it S tier. As for exactly where I'd place it, I'd probably place it after Arcanine. Because again, I don't use legendaries in battle, so it's like while I know it's extremely strong, I have used it in battle on the typical. It's more in terms of its lore, especially with the first movie. And Mew is the final one. I will be counting Mew here. Mew has always been super fucking cute, but it's always been a lesser Mewtwo to me, which is ironic because Mew came first in the lore. Mew I would put at the very bottom of S tier. And so there you have it. I'll zoom back in so you can get a better look. Back to there. Okay, you can't see my F tier here, but I'll go down in a second. So yeah, this is my rankings for all Generation 1 Pokemon. As you can see, my favorite, best of the best, is Nidorina. I just adore Nidorina to death. And scrolling down, you can see my least favorite is Magikarp. Magikarp is just a worthless piece of trash. And as you could see, once again, I did not count Mega Evolutions because I just didn't. I'm not counting Gigantamax and stuff like that either, by the way. Just nothing like that. I just don't feel like it's worth it to count them. Um, so yeah, they just don't feel like enough of a new Pokemon. But those are my rankings. You can tell me down in the comments below what your rankings for the Generation 1 Pokemon are. But in the meantime, we're going to move on to Generation 2. Like I said, this is going to be a long-ass video. This has already been over 30 minutes. So here we are in Generation 2. And yeah, we're just going to leave it at this level of zoom. So we start with Chikorita, my favorite Gen 2 starter and one of my favorite starters, period. Definitely in my top 5. Chikorita is easy S tier for me. So just putting it right there. And I love the entire line. Bayleaf, I would say, is under Chikorita and Meganium under Bayleaf. Like, they kind of go in order that way. They get less appealing as they move on, but I still love them all. They're still all S tier. Cyndaquil, I would put as B tier. with Quilava as an A tier and Typhlosion under Quilava. Because I like them and I've used them well enough, but they never did it for me as much as the Chikorita line. And Totodile, I always actually liked uh, more than the Cyndaquil line, but less than the Chikorita lines. I would put Totodile as upper A tier. Um, Croconaw would be probably between Quilava and Typhlosion, and Feraligatr would be between Croconaw and Typhlosion. Sentret, I just think is not that great. Sentret would be D tier. Furret, Furret is a little bit of an upgrade. It's definitely a lot cuter in its design, but it's still not that great in battle. So I would put it in C tier for now. Hoot Hoot, I always wanted to get a Hoot Hoot. Every time I played through Generation 2, I would always get a Hoot Hoot. Um, but I would still put Hoot Hoot in B tier in terms of its usability below Cyndaquil. Noctowl, I almost always had a Noctowl on my team. Almost always. Um, Noctowl would be A tier for me, below Totodile. Ladybot just is really boring to me, both in its design and its usability. I would put that just above Sentret though still. And Ladian just felt like it was not much of an upgrade at all. In fact, it felt almost like a downgrade in a lot of ways. I would put it below Sentret. Spinarak would probably be C tier below Furret, and Ariados would be above Furret. If I can get above Furret, there we go. Crobat is easy, easy A tier, and I would put it above Totodile. Totodile, you have to move that. Come on, there we go. Chincho was just always kind of meh for me. I would put it below Spinarak. And Lantern, I never liked Lantern. I thought it looks dumb as fuck. And in battle, it's just I never really wanted to use it because it just never really did anything for me. I would put Lantern uh, above Sentret, but below Ladybot. Pichu, the baby Pokemon, honestly kind of pissed me off a little bit, but Pichu is one of the better ones. Pichu, I would put as upper C tier below Ariados. Cleffa's F tier. Igglybuff is F tier, but even worse. Togepi, I don't count as a baby Pokemon because it's a new Pokemon. But Togepi I would put as C tier, above Ariados. And Togetic is just not that good at all, and its design is just really weird. So I would put Togetic below Furret. Another line that I always loved and always tried to use during any of my run throughs in G2. Natu is definitely A tier. I would put it below Noctowl. Xatu is S tier, hard S tier, below Meganium. Mareep, another one that is hard S tier. I would put Mareep between Bayleaf and Meganium. Flaffy, I would put also S tier. I actually like Flaffy a little more than Mareep, so I would put it just above Mareep. Ampharos though would go down to A tier. Only a slight upgrade over Flaffy, but its design is a little bit of a downgrade for me. So I would put it below Crobat. Blossom is definitely the better alternative to a Gloom evolution than Vileplume. Blossom I always really just enjoyed as well, just in general. Its design is super fucking cute. Blossom I would probably put in an A tier, and I would probably put it I would probably put it below Ampharos. Meryl always just did not do anything for me. I was like, I don't hate it, but I'm like, it's the pure definition of meh for me. So I would put it below Furret. Azumarill, Azumarill is it's trash. It's a D tier, and I would actually put it just below Lantern. Because Lantern is at least a little more interesting. Politoed would be B tier under Hoot Hoot. Hoppip. I think. Yeah, this one's Hot Pip. Wow. Like I mean, yeah, Hot Pip, then Skip Bloom, then Jumpluff. Yes, that's I get Hot Pip and Skip Bloom mixed up sometimes for some reason. Hot Pip is D tier for me. It's just it's another one of those that's just super boring. But I'd put it top of D tier. Skip Bloom, Skip Bloom, I would put just above Hot Pip, and Jumpluff is bottom of D tier. Sunkern line is actually like notoriously unliked. I found out more recently, which surprised me because that's like I always thought the Sunkern line was okay, but that's it. I just thought it was okay, so I would put it above Meryl, and I would put Sunflora above Pichu. Yanma, Yanma, I would put below Spinarak. Apom is D tier. It's just it's worthless. It's worthless, but it has a slightly cute design, which keeps it from being bottom D tier or F tier. So I would put Apom. I'd put Apom at the top of the D tier. I could agree to that. Wooper line has always been kind of on the verge of loving, but not quite there for me. Wooper would be above Politoed, and Quagsire would be the top of the B tier for me. Sudowoodo. I almost skipped Sudowoodo, sorry. Sudowoodo is another one that's just very meh. But I would put it above Pichu still. In fact, I put it above Sunflora. Espeon, I've never been into Espeon as much as some people. I would put it at. I'd put it below Hoot Hoot. Umbreon, though, I've always liked a lot more. Umbreon, I would put between Crocodile and Feraligatr. Murkrow, I would put under Quagsire. And Misdreavus, I've always loved Misdreavus. I would put that between Crobat and Ampharos. No, between Crobat and Ampharos. God damn it. Unknown is bottom of the bottom. Unknown is literally worthless. It's literally a gimmick Pokemon that only exists to be a gimmick Pokemon. It has no worth at all in game. Slowking. Slowking is interesting, and here's a little fun fact. I used to have these weird dreams every single year growing up. After I first played Generation 2 and saw the Lugia movie, I used to have dreams every year on Christmas Eve, going into Christmas. I would always dream of receiving presents from Slowking. And I have no fucking idea why. Like, it would make more sense for it to be Delibird, but no, it was always Slowking. And it literally happened for years. I think I was even in middle school before, or no, actually high school before it ended, before I stopped having those dreams. And I have no idea why. I have absolutely no idea. But kind of because of it, Slowking's always become kind of like almost jokingly interesting to me. I would still put it in B tier, below Quagsire, though. Girafarig, I always thought was super underrated. Girafarig needs more love. Top A tier, just below Crobat. Wobbuffet is the complete opposite. I feel it's a little too overrated. It's not even that overrated because it's not even that popular, but it's like it's still overrated for me. I would put Wobbuffet at the top of C tier though. Pineco is definitely bottom D tier. And its evolution that I cannot for the life of me remember its name of. At all, I can't even think of anything. Is just so obviously unmemorable for me. Like that's I was gonna say it was unmemorable even before I forgot its name, but yeah, that's definitely even worse than Pineco then. Dunsparce is worthless. Its design is kind of cool. It's a little interesting, but it's still in the F tier for me. Top of the F tier. I'll give it that much. Gliscor was always one of those Pokemon I liked its design for, but never really understood why it's a bat mixed with a scorpion. Also, it always felt like the lesser like bat Pokemon compared with Golbats and Crobat. So I would put it below Slowking. Steelix was very meh for me. Always very meh for me. I'd put it below Ariados. Snubble, I adore the fuck out of Snubble. Snubble would definitely be after Mareep. Granbull, not as much. Granbull, I would put at the bottom of A tier. Quillfish is definite D tier, and I would put it below Ladybug. Sizor, not anywhere near as good as Scyther. It's just felt like it's like, oh, it's a metal Scyther, and it's not as interesting. I would put that below Slowking. Shuckle is worthless. I don't care what the memes say. I don't care what like kind of overly convoluted tricks you have to do to make it worthwhile. It's worthless, and I've always kind of hated it. It's bottom. It's F tier, but it's better than Dunsparce. Heracross, another one of my favorite bug Pokemon. Again, coming from someone who's not a fan of bug Pokemon in general. But I do like Heracross. I would put that as A tier. I would put it above Feraligatr. Sneasel. Sneasel would be B tier for me. I like it, but it's not like great or anything. I would put Sneasel just above Espeon. Teddiursa is really, really fucking cute, but worthless as hell in battle. So I would put Teddiursa in B tier just because of how freaking cute it is. And I would put it above Sizor. Ursaring, Ursaring loses the cuteness and is still worthless as hell in battle. So Ursaring actually drops to a D tier for me. Like, that is how much Teddiursa's cuteness upgraded it for me. Ursaring, I would put at the top of the D tier, though. It's still okay. Slugma. I thought Slugma was Generation 3. Huh. Slugma would probably be C tier. In fact, I'd put Slugma top of C tier. And Mecargo would be under Ariados. Swinub, I love pigs. Like, I don't know if I've mentioned that on the channel much, but I love pigs. I think they are some of the cutest animals out there, especially micro pigs. I want one so badly. Swinub is honestly, I would put Swinub as upper A tier, and I would put it above Mischievous. Piloswine, not as big of a fan of, so I would put it bottom of the A tier. Corsola, I've gotten a little more respect for lately because of Galarian Corsola. But just regular base Corsola, Johto Corsola, I would probably put that one underneath Sizor. Remoraid is trash. Remoraid is trash, but it's still better than Dunsparce. Octillery is not as much trash, so it's a D tier. I would put Octillery actually as top of the D tier. I would say it's a little better than Ursaring. Delibird is trash as well. It's not good. Its design and its gimmick are a little interesting, but not enough to really raise it from being bottom of the barrel C tier. In fact, yeah, I think I would put it only above Chincho. Mantine. Mantine is also C tier, but I would say mid C tier. I put it above Sunkern. Skarmory. Everyone loves Skarmory. I've always just kind of been meh on it. I would put Skarmory, though, as an more close to upper C tier above Macargo. Houndour and Houndoom. I've always liked Houndour line. Um, and even in battle, it's pretty good. I would put it as upper B tier. I would put Houndour below Teddiursa, and Houndoom I would put top of B tier. Kingdra, Kingdra, like Seadra before it, is a massive beast. This thing is just insane. I would put that as a middle to upper A tier. I would put Kingdra below Ampharos because I still like Ampharos just personally a little bit more. Fanpy is cute as fuck, but not as amazing in battle. It's not bad in battle, so I would probably put a B tier. I would probably put Fanpy above Corsola. Donphan, I'd probably put Donphan just below Fanpy because just design wise, I don't like it as much. Stantler is ugly as fuck and just not really that useful in battle at all. But I would still put it upper D tier, under Octillery. Porygon 2 is a joke. It's not much of an upgrade at all from Porygon, and it's like, oh, it's smooth now instead of janky, and it's like, whoop de fucking do. Porygon 2, I never even entertained the idea of using it, and I just never would even consider being interested at all. I would say I actually really dislike Porygon 2. But I don't say I hate it. So I wouldn't say it's F tier, but it's very bottom of D tier. Very bottom. Smeargle, I actually have a love for. I actually really love Smeargle. And I don't know why, because it's not that useful in battle at all. It's actually really weak. But I actually just like Smeargle for some reason. But I would still only be able to put it at B tier. And I would still put it I'd put it below Donphan. Tyrogue is it's a worthless baby Pokemon. But it's a little better than some others. So I would put it in D tier. No, I'd put it above Pichu. I'll put it in C tier. But I'll still put it below Steelix. Below Steelix, please. Smoochum is hell. Smoochum is just hell, but it's still better than Unknown because at least it's not completely useless. Hitmontop is a C tier for me. It's just not as good as the Hitmonchan or Hitmonlee. But I'd put it top of C tier. Magby is better than some of the other baby Pokemon, but it's still an F for me. But I'll put it above Dunsparce. Elekid would be just below Dunsparce. No, just below Magby actually. Miltank very top of S tier. Miltank is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. And it's actually pretty damn good in battle. The thing is tanky as fuck. And I just adore Miltank. I think it's one of the cutest fucking things ever. So yeah, Miltank is top of S tier for me. Blissey is like Chansey, except even more fucking annoying. Um, its design is a little more interesting. I'll put a bottom of D tier though, still, because I can't stand it. Now we get into the legendary dogs. So we have Raikou, or Raikou, however you want to pronounce it. Um, I would put Raikou. I would put it upper B tier, I think, just below Quagsire. Entei is definitely my least favorite of the legendary dogs, even though he had a kick-ass movie. The third movie is still fantastic. It still holds up. But I would still put it as the weakest of the legendary dogs in terms of just general preference. I'd put it below Houndour. Below Houndour, please. Thank you. Suicune is my favorite. Suicune's always been my favorite of the legendary dogs. Plus, it's also part of the kick-ass fourth movie. Suicune I would actually put as S tier. One of the few legendaries I would ever put as S tier. As for placement, I would probably put it at the very bottom still, though. Next, we get into the Larvitar line, kind of the pseudo-legendaries of the generation. Larvitar, I would probably put as a B tier, and I would say lower B tier, just above Wooper. Pupitar is C tier for sure. Pupitar would be just below Macargo for me. But Tyranitar is a beast, like massive beast. And one of the first Pokemon that I would compare to a kaiju. Uh, So Tyranitar, I would put as upper A tier. In fact, I'd put it at the very top of A tier, above Crobats even, if it'll let me. There we go. Lugia and Ho-Oh for the cover legendaries. Always, I just love them. They are two of the best cover legendaries Pokemon have had. Lugia, I would definitely put in upper A tier. I don't like it as much as Girafarig personally, so I'd put it under Girafarig. But would be Ho-Oh would be above Crobat. And Celebi, another one of my favorite legendaries who would definitely be S tier for me. Celebi is the cutest fucking onion ever. Um, and I just, especially after the fourth movie, I just adore the fuck out of it. I would probably put Celebi between Snubble and Meganium. And there you have it. Those are my rankings for Generation 2. So my favorite Pokemon of Generation 2 is Miltank, which is not even a contest. And least favorite is Unknown. Again, not even a contest. The thing is literally worthless. But next we'll move on to Generation 3. So yeah, we're going to keep the same zoom because I think it's just working. And let's get right into this, not waste any more time. So Trico. The Trico line never did anything for me, but it's not like I hate them. It's just they never did anything. So I would put Trico as a C. Grovyle would be a higher C, but still C. And Sceptile, I would put Sceptile in B. It gets enough of an upgrade, and it feels like it's a worthwhile final evolution. Torchic, one of my favorite starters, period. And actually, for a long time, was my favorite starter. So I would put that as S. Combuskin and Blaziken are S2. Combuskin is under Torchic, but Blaziken is above it. For the long time, Blaziken was one of my favorite Pokemon. And actually, for the longest time, Blaziken was my favorite Pokemon, period. So that tells you how much I love it. Mudkip, I never got into the memes. So just because of that, the Mudkip line is very disappointing for me. Because in game, it's not that great. I do like Mudkip's design the best of them, though. So Mudkip I would put as a B tier under Sceptile. Um, I cannot remember Mudkip's evolution's name. I know the final one is Swampert, but I can't remember the middle one. Either way, I would put that between Grovyle and Trico, and Swampert would be at the very bottom of what we've got so far. Swampert's just not that great. It's just not. Poochyena, I would put as upper. No, actually, I'd put it in B tier. I was gonna say upper C tier, but I would put it in B tier. In fact, I'd put it above Mudkip. Mightyena would be above Sceptile. Zigzagoon, no, Zigzagoon's D tier. Lanoon is a higher D tier, but still D tier. Wurmple is easily one of my least favorite bugs, but I'd still put it in D tier. The Silcoon and Cascoons would be very bottom of D tier. I don't really care which order they're in. They're both as worthless to me. Beautifly and Dustox. Beautifly would be between Wurmple and Zigzagoon, and Dustox would be above Lanoon. Still D tier for me. Lotad, I would put below Poochyena. Lombre, I would put below Mightyena, and Ludicolo would be above Mightyena. I don't, for some reason, I just always loved Ludicolo. I think it's hilarious. Uh, C dot, oh, I actually really like the C dot line. I would put C dot below Poochyena. And I would put Nuzleaf above, yeah, I'd put it right there between Lombre and Sceptile. And Shiftry, easy A tier. Talo is one of the lesser bird early level bird Pokemon for the games. I would put Talo as a C tier, but lower C tier. And Swellow just above Talo. Wingull is really weak to electricity, and that always bothered me. It's like doubly weak to electricity. It's just not that good in general. So I'd put Wingull actually even lower than Talo. And Pelipper's a little better, but I would still put it below Swampert. Oh, Marshtomp. That's the middle evolution for Mudkip, by the way. I finally remembered it. Ralts, I always like the Ralts line. Ralts would be top B tier. Curlia would be top A tier, and Gardevoir would be just under Curlia. I actually like Curlia more, believe it or not. Surskit creeps me the fuck out, but it's a little cute. I would put Surskit just under Swampert. Masquerain though, probably bottom C tier. The Shroomish line I like. I don't like the line as much as like the odd ones out. He like Breloom's his favorite Pokemon. But I do like the Shroomish line. I always have. So Shroomish I would put above Ludicolo, and Breloom I would probably put top of B tier. The Slack Off line just was always very mad to me, so I would put Slack Off below Swampert. I would put Vigoroth. Notably higher though. I would put that one, top of C tier for Vigoroth. I'll give it that. And Slack King would be just above Slack Off. Nincada, do not like Nincada. But it is better than Swellow, I would say. Ninjask would be above Slacking, and Shedinja would be above Surskit. Uh, Whismer. Whismer, I would probably put top of D tier. It's just really weak to me. But Loudred, it just really gets a massive upgrade. Loudred, I would put between Grovyle and Marshtomp. And then Exploud, I would put just below Vigoroth. Mainly because it's ugly as sin, but kind of in a funny way. Makuhita is always one I strive to use for Generation 3. So Makuhita, I would probably put in upper B tier, probably just below Breloom. And Hariyama would probably be just below Makuhita, just because I like Makuhita's design much more. Azurill is F tier. It's like we didn't need any more baby Pokemon. Stop making baby Pokemon. They're just so trash. Nosepass is also F tier. I just never liked it and never thought it was that good, and it annoys me. Skitty, despite being absolutely worthless in battle, let's be completely honest here, I adore the fuck out of Skitty design-wise, so I would have to put it upper B tier. Just by its design. It is cute as fuck. I would put it just below Breloom. Delcatty, however, it's just not as great of a design by any means. So I would put Delcatty at the very top of D tier. Sableye is easy A tier, just below Curlia for me. Maywile, S tier. I don't understand why some people don't like Maywile. Maywile is fucking amazing in battle and just design wise. Maywile, I would put just below Combuskin. I still can't put it above Combuskin, but I adore the fuck out of it. The Aron line. Aron is pretty good. Aron, I would put upper B tier above Skitty. You know what? No, I'd put it just the top of the B tier. Lairon, I don't like its design as much, and I'd put it below Aron, but Aggron is definite A tier. I'd put it above Gardevoir. Meditite. I've always liked the Meditite line, but Meditite itself specifically would probably be below Shroomish, while Medicham would probably be just below Gardevoir. Electrike, I would say is C tier. I've just always kind of been very meh on Electrike and its evolution, Magnetric. Electrike I would probably put below Grovyle. and Magnectric would be below Vigoroth. Plusle and Minun are worthless. They're the bottom of the bottom, F tier. Again, their order does not matter. Illumis is another F tier for me. Illumis and Volbeat, both of them. They're F tier as well. They're just completely worthless, and honestly, I just don't like their designs. I would put them above Azurill, though. And again, their order really doesn't matter. There's so many Pokemon in Gen 3 where it's the order just does not matter. Roselia. Roselia would be B tier for me. I would put Roselia above Hariyama. Or, yeah. No, I was right. Makihita and Hariyama. I was right. Uh, God, what the fuck is your name? Gulpin, and Swalot. They're bottom of the bomb as well. They're also F tier. But I would put them above Nosepass. Swalot is definitely worse though. Carvana, I would put as a B tier. I'd put Carvana upper B tier. Above Skitty. No, below, just below Skitty. And Sharpedo just above Carvana. Wailmer would be C tier for me, but upper C tier below Magnectric. And Wailord would be below Grovyle. Numel, I always had a soft spot for Numel. I think it's kind of cute. Numel, I would put B tier. Below Shroomish. Camerupt, on the other hand, would be C tier below Exploud. And Torkoal would be also C tier below Grovyle. Spoink, again, I love pigs, so Spoink definitely appeals to me right off the bat. Its lore, though, with the idea that if it stops bouncing, it'll die, freaks me the hell out. It just admittedly it does. So Spoink, I would put mid to lower B tier, below Ludicolo, or not Ludicolo, Lombre. And Grumpig is basically like what I wish, like oh my gosh, Gramble. Grumpig is what I wish Gramble was. It's definitely like better than Spoink. Like I wish Gramble was to Snubble. Grumpig I would put below Nummel. Spinda. Spinda is fucking annoying and worthless. Spinda is definitely more interesting in its design, though, especially since it has a few different design types. So I'd put Spinda in D tier, just below Lanoon. Trapinch I actually am okay with. Trapinch I would put as C tier, and I would put it just below Slackoff, and Vibrava just below Trapinch. Flygon, though, is actually pretty damn good. I would put Flygon in B tier, just above Ludicolo. Cacnea, I've always had a soft spot for Cacnea. Cacnea would be A tier for me. Cacnea would be the bottom of the A tier, though, while Cacturn would be just above it. Swablu. Swablu would be B tier, probably just below Makihita. And Altaria would be top of B tier. Gotta move you down, Aaron. Zangoose and Seviper, I never really got into. I like Seviper more. Zangoose would probably be below Slackoff. And Seviper, I would say, would be probably below Torkoal. After that, we have Lunatone and Solrock. Two others that you could exchange, like, the order of, and it doesn't really matter for, so they'll be back-to-back as well. They would be probably just above Vibrava. So I'll just put them both there. It doesn't matter. Barboach. Barboach is D tier. Barboach would be just above Beautifly for me. Whiscash would be just below Linoon. Corfish. Corfish, I would also put into. No, I would put Corfish into C tier. I'll give it C tier. And I'll put that below Lunatone and Solrock, while Crawdaunt would be just above them. Baltoy, I would put in B tier. The Baltoy line, while Claydol's a little creepy, I always thought their line was pretty cool and useful. So Claydol, I would put just below Sceptile in the B tier, and or Baltoy. Claydol would be just above C dot. Lileep and Cradily are more Pokemon that I just have this weird, unexplainable love for. Lileep would be upper C tier above Magnetric, and Cradily would be just below Grumpig, I think. No, just above Grumpig. I think, yeah. Because I've used it more in battle. Or not Armaldo. What the fuck is the first one called? Amaranth? Amaranth, I would put lower C tier, probably just above Shedinja. And Armaldo would be upper C tier, just above Whalmer. Feebas. Feebas is practically useless, but it's kind of cute. It's kind of cute in like an ugly cute kind of way. So I would put it just below Linoon, while Milotic is one of the biggest upgrades possible. Feebas and Milotic is like what Magikarp and Gyarados are. Okay, let's word this a little better. For me, Feebas and Milotic are what Magikarp and Gyarados are for others. Milotic is an A tier, easily. And I would put Milotic just below Kirlia, actually. I love Milotic that much. And it's pretty useful in battle, too. It's actually pretty damn good. Cast Form is a gimmicky Pokemon. It really has no use outside of its gimmick. So I would put Cast Form, and I'm only going to count its regular. I'm not going to use its multiple forms that it shows here. I would put that in the very bottom of the D tier, just above the Cascoon and Silcoon. Kecleon. Kecleon is a Pokemon I always liked, but never understood why, because it's not that good in battle. So I would put Kecleon like upper C tier, just above Lileep. No, just above Lileep. Shuppet and Banette. Oh, easy A tier. Shuppet, I would actually put just above Aggron, and Banette, I would put top of A tier, easily. Easily. Great ghost Pokemon and just really awesome designs. Duskull and Dusclops are the lesser of these two ghost Pokemon lines in this one, but I would still put them in a B tier. Duskull, I would put upper B tier just above Aron. And Dusclops, I would put just below Skitty. Again, mostly based on design for that one. Tropius, another Pokemon I just always loved for some reason. Tropius, or Tropius, however you want to pronounce it, would be upper B tier for me, just above Lairon. I just always loved it for some reason. Chimecho, on the other hand, I always disliked. Chimecho would be bottom of C tier. Absol is a Pokemon I always felt was overrated. Everyone loved Absol, but I just never got into it as much. But I'd still put it in C tier. It's still very good in battle. I put it, I'll put it at top of C tier. I think that's fair. Why not another worthless baby Pokemon? And Why Not's kind of cute, but it's still a worthless baby Pokemon and doesn't really save it much. So I'll put it below Feebas. Snorunt would be top of D tier, above Delcatty. Glalie, though, would be upper C tier, above Kecleon. The Spheal line has always had a very soft spot in my heart. Spheal is like the cuter seal. So Spheal, which is just round as fuck and adorable as fuck, I would put as an upper B tier. Um, I would put Spheal just above Duskull. I would put Celio just below Tropius, and Walrein would be just below Breloom. Clamperl, Clamperl would be bottom C tier, just above Nincada. And Huntail, let's go do Huntail first. Huntail and Gorbis are almost kind of the same for me, but I like Gorbis a little more. Huntail would be just above Solrock, or Lunatone rather, and Gorbis would be just above Zangoose. Relicanth, I I don't see the appeal in Relicanth almost at all. So Relicanth would be D tier, and it would be above Whiscash. Love Disc, Love Disc, I would put in C tier, just below Clamperl. Bagon would be B tier for sure. Bagon would be B tier, just above Skitty. Shelgon would be just below Ludicolo, and Salamence would be just above Tropius, I would say. No, just above Tropius. Beldum would be just above Dusclops, with Matang between Sharpedo and Carvana. And Metagross is S tier, just below, yeah. My mind is blanking on a lot of names, even if I've said them before. Maywile, just below Maywile. I hate that my mind does that. The Regis, we are on to the legendaries of Generation 3. So Regirock, I would put C tier, and I would put it below Swampert. Regice would also be C tier, and it would be above Wailord. And scrolling down so I can get to it, Registeel would probably be my favorite of the Regis. And I would put it above Wailmer. Latios and Latias I like a lot more. Latias I would put as just below Spheal. And Latios I would put probably just below Latias. I like Latias's design more. I like the red, and it's a little cuter. Kyogre and Groudon I'm like okay with, but for cover legendaries they're just kind of okay for me. Kyogre, I would put Kyogre at the top of C tier. And Groudon I actually always liked a little more, so I would put Groudon in B tier, and I would put it just below Numel. Rayquaza, though, is definitely the better of them for the cover legendaries for Generation 3. So Rayquaza would be A tier, and I would put it just below Gardevoir for me. Gotta scroll down a bit. All that's left is Jirachi and Deoxys. So Jirachi I would probably put B tier, and I would put Jirachi just below above Walrein. Deoxys, I have always loved. Deoxys like almost captured my love for Mewtwo again. So Deoxys would definitely be A tier. Let me just bring it up and then scroll up. Deoxys's placement in A tier would probably be just above Shuppet. So right there. Okay, and so yes, that is Generation 3. My favorite from Generation 3 is Blaziken, and my least is Plusle and Minun. Again, you can switch their places. It doesn't matter exactly which one you would go for there. Either way. But next we move on to Generation 4, and like I said, this is a long-ass video. It's already been going on for almost an hour and a half. But we are going through every Pokemon here. And we're not, by the way, we are not going to rank them like, oh, my favorites. We're not going to rank the S tiers like after this at all. We're just ranking them by generation here. So generation four, Turtwig. Turtwig is D tier. Turtwig is one of my least favorite starters. Grodel or Groddle or however it's pronounced is D tier as well, and Torterra is definitely the bottom of that line. Chimchar would be C tier, with its middle evolution, Monferno as D, and Infernape just above Chimchar. Piplup is definitely the best of the Gen 4 starters, but it's still only a B tier. And its evolutions, I would say, are both C tier. Um, and probably in that order, yeah. Um, the starters of Generation 4 just aren't that great for me. It's just Generation 4 in general doesn't have as many great Pokemon for me. The Staravia, Starap, no, Staravia is the middle one. Starly, Staravia, and Staraptor. I would put them as one of the weaker early route bird Pokemon. Um, so I would put them. I put Starly uh, below Groddle, Staravia above Groddle, and Staraptor. Just in terms of its design, I hate the thing on its head, the little like fin thing. Bottom of D tier. Bidoof is F tier. Like I do not care if it's good to use as an HM slave. I don't like it. Bibarel is a little better, but still F tier. Cricketot and Cricketoon, I would also put both as F tier. I would put them both above the Bidoof line though. Shinx is upper B tier. Luxio is just below Shinx, and Luxray is A tier. Budu I would put as upper C tier, top of C tier, with Roserade just below Empoleon. Cranidos is lower C tier, with Rampardos below that, because I just don't think it's enough of an upgrade, and Rampardos just isn't appealing looking at all. Shieldon, the Shieldon line is better than the Rampardos line. Shieldon I would put top of C tier, and Bastiodon I would put below Badu. Burmy, I'm only going to count one Burmy because they're pretty much all the same. I'm just going to count one for the line. So Burmy would definitely be F tier. Uh, I would put Burmy at the actual bottom, with Wormadam at the top of F tier. Because Wormadam is just a tiny bit more useful in battle. Mothim would probably be just above Staraptor. Combee, I would say Combee would be top of D tier, but below Monferno still. And Vespiquen would be just below Monferno. Pachirisu would be above Cranidos. Floatzel would be just below Monferno. Or no, that's Weasel. Sorry, Floatzel's the evolution. Floatzel would be just below Vespiquen. Cherubi would probably be just above Staraptor. Um, I cannot remember what Cherubi's evolutions are called for the life of me. But I would put them below Cherubi. Probably in this order. Yeah, a lot of Gen 4 Pokemon just aren't memorable to me. Um, I know the evolution is Gastrodon. I cannot remember what it evolves from, what its evolution is called. But I would also put that D tier, and I would put that above Mothim. And Gastrodon, I would put just below it because of design. Ambipom is F tier. Ambipom would be top of F tier, but still F tier. Drifloon, I would put as bottom of B tier, with Drifblim at the top of C tier under Shieldon. Happiny is F tier for sure, but it's still better than Burmy. Baniri. Baniri I would put in C tier, above Pachirisu. And Lopunny I would put in B tier, above Piplup. I like Lopunny. Sue me. Miss Magius would be A tier below Luxray. Honchkrow would be C tier below Baneri. Glameow. Glameow would probably be below Weasel with Per Ugly at the very bottom of D tier. Chingling would probably be just below Kricketune. Stunky would be D tier above Glameow with Skuntank at the top of D tier. Because Skuntank's actually somewhat useful in battle, but I still hate its design. And honestly, I just don't like it in general. Bronzor would be upper C tier, I'd say. Below Bastiodon though, with Bronzong below Drifblim. Bonsly would be F tier, and Bonsly would be just above Bibarel. Mime Jr. would be just above Bonsly, and Chatot would be D tier, just above Cherubi. Gibble is S tier. So far, my only S tier for Generation 4, with Gaybite as A tier under Miss Magius, and Garchomp just above Luxray. Munchlax is a D tier, top of D tier. Riolu is S tier, but Lucario I would put only as A tier and at the bottom of A tier currently. Okay. The evolution is Hippowdon. Hippopotas, that's what its first one is. Hippopotas I would put as top of C tier, very top of C tier, with Hippowdon probably under Luxio, and no, I would put it under Lopunny, actually. Spiritomb I would probably put at the lower B tier for sure, above Piplup. Skorupi would be below Baneri, with Drapion at the very bottom of C tier. Krogunk would be top of C tier. Oh geez. Krogunk, work with me here. With Toxicroak below Empoleon. Carnivine would be top of D tier. Finneon and Lumineon would be bottom of D tier, but still above Staraptor. In fact, still above the Cherubi line as well. Mantike would be bottom of D tier, just below Cherubi, but before the rest of the line. Snorunt would be upper C tier, above Drifblim, while Abomasnow would be B tier, above Spiritomb. Weavile would be upper B tier, very top of it, in fact, at the moment. Magnezone would be C tier under Infernape. Licky before Bibarel, but still F tier. Rhyperior, let's get in order here. Rhyperior would be D tier, but top of D tier, very top of D tier. Tangrowth would be under Vespiquen. Electivire would be bottom of C tier, but above Skorupi. Magmortar would be just below him. Togekiss, I hate Togekiss, let's be honest. I think it's ugly as sin and just, it's not good in battle, but I'd still put it top of F tier. Yanmega, I would put, Yanmega just below Monferno. Leafeon, I would put very top of D tier. Glaceon, probably just above Roserade. Mamoswine, just after Magmortar. Porygon Z, it's like Porygon Z subtitle. It's getting ridiculous now. F tier. I would put it upper F tier though. In fact, I put it at the very top. It's above Togekiss. Gallade would be upper B tier, but only before Lopunny. Probopass. Probopass is lower D tier, but above Luminion. Um, Dusk Noir, upper C tier, very top of C tier. Frostlass S tier, very top actually. I would put it at the top. Frostlass is just gorgeous to me and actually really useful in battle, like really useful. So yeah, I would put Frostlass at the very top. Rotom is annoying as fuck and honestly just not useful in battle, so I would put Rotom as F tier, but very top of F tier. And I'm not going to count its different forms. So we now get to the legendary trio, Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf. I never remember which is which because they're all worthless and just really trash. Like they are three of the most trash legendaries in the entire franchise. But I would still say they're better than Burmy and Happiny, so I'll just put them there, and order doesn't matter. Dialga would be C tier, just below Infernape. Palkia would be just above Empoleon. Heatran would be top of D tier. Regigigas would be probably mid C tier. Better than Dialga, but lower than Palkia, so I would probably say like right after Empoleon. Giratina, I would probably say is one of the better legendaries for this generation, but I'd still only put Giratina as B tier. And I'm just going to put one of Giratina's forms just to make it easier. So yeah, B tier, and I would put it still below Spiritomb. Below Spiritomb, please. Cresselia, I've always liked though. Cresselia is A tier, very bottom of A tier though. Then there's Manaphy and the other one. I don't remember the other one's name, but those are both D tier for me. But above Heatran. So again, very top of D tier, and it doesn't matter what order they're in. They're practically interchangeable. Darkrai would be top of C tier. And Shaman would be also top of C tier. And I'll actually Shaman. I'm just gonna count one of its forms because I'm gonna count them both together. So I would actually put that above Darkrai then, to be fair. And Arceus, I would say, would be top of D tier. So yeah, and that's my thoughts for the Pokemon for Generation 4. As you can see, my favorite is Frostlass. And bottom of the barrel is Burmy, because Burmy is absolute shit. And as you can also see, you can clearly see I was not a fan of Generation 4's Pokemon. As you can see, most of them were C through F tier. It was the A or S through B tier were actually very harder to come by in this one. So now we move on to Generation 5. And we start with Victini, the legendary who was number 0 in the Pokedex, because why the fuck not, even though that made no sense. I actually like Victini, but I would still only put it as a B. Snivy would also be a B, that entire line. So Snivy would be there. I don't remember the middle one's name, but it would be at the bottom, and Superior would be just below Snivy. Tepig, Tepig I would probably put above Victini. With its evolutions coming pretty much right after it. Yeah, I would say that would actually be accurate. Oshawott would be an A tier. Daywott, is it Daywott or Dewott? Either way, that would be top of B tier for me. And Samurott would be D tier. I hate Samurott. Okay, so now we get into Patrat and Watchog. Patrat would be D tier, Watchog C tier. Lillipup, top of B tier. Herdier, that's the middle one. Herdier would be top of C tier, and Stoutland would be just under Herdier, I would say. Liepard is the evolution. What's the first one? I can't remember the life of me. The first one, though, is bottom of C tier. Liepard is just above it. Now we get to the simians. Pansage, well, honestly, all of them, you could really interchange them. So it's, at this point, it's just like which one, it's typings for me. But either way, they're all at the bottom of C tier. So Simisage would be bottom, then Simisear, and then Simapore. Or no, those are Pans. Pansage, Pansear, and Panpour. The Simis are the evolutions. Who I also think are not much better. I'll put them above. In fact, I'll just. I feel right putting each of the evolutions above their respective pre-evolution. So I'd say that's about right. Munna would be upper B tier for me, with Musharna just below it. Um, I do not remember these Pokemon's names, the bird Pokemon. I think the last one's Unpheasant, but I'm not sure. Either way, more weak early stage bird Pokemon. Pidove maybe is the first one. I don't know. They're D tier though. How did that pop over there? Either way, um, they're still better than Samurott. Blitzel is top A tier, with Zebstrika just below it. Roggenrola would probably be bottom A tier at the moment, with its first evolution, Boldore, being there, and Gigalith being just above Zebstrika. Uh, is Swoobat the first one or the second? I don't remember. Either way, these bats are F tier because they're ugly and I just hate them. Drillbur. Drillbur would be top S or top C tier. With its evolution, Escadrill or whatever it is, Excadrill, just below it. Audino would be F tier, top of F tier, but still. Timber. Timber, I would say, is pretty good. Timber, I would put just below Munna. And then I would put Timber's evolutions just below Musharna. Timpole. Timpole's F tier, but it's not as bad as Audino. Palpitoad. There's no Seismitoad's the last one. Yeah, Palpitoad is top of D tier, and Seismitoad is top of C tier. Each evolution for that line just got notably better. The Levani line, I don't remember. I think the first one's Sawaddle. They're all bottom D tier. Like, they're all kind of shit. But the final evolution is definitely the best. Uh, One of them, I think, is Scoliopede. I don't know. Either way, they're just above Samurott, I would say. No, I would actually say they're the top of D tier. Throw and Sock, I would say, would probably be upper C tier, but below Excadrill. Cottony, this line would probably be. I forget a lot of the names of Pokemon from this one, so mind you, that would be D tier, but upper D tier. Um, Petalil and Lilligant are two of my more favorites from this generation, so I'd say they're A tier. Petalil at the bottom and Lilligil under Zebstrika. Sandile, or no, Basculin first. Basculin is bottom C tier, but still before the Simis. Sandile is an S tier, but its evolutions are only upper A tier. The Darumaka Darmanitan line, I would put as lower B tier. I would put you actually. No, you're actually going to be upper B tier. Yeah, you're below Musharna. Maractus is top of the top for me right now. I love Maractus. Another one I'm not fully sure why, I just always have. You two are D tier for sure, but top of D tier because you're actually fairly okay. Scraggy line is top of C tier. This creepy ass motherfucker Sigalith would probably be B tier, and I'd probably put it just below Victini. You two, um, Yamask would be top of B tier, and Cofagrigus would probably be just below Blitzel for me. Uh, Caracosta line for the fossils would be upper C tier. In fact, I'd put you top C tier and your evolution just after you. But the Archeon line, Archeon and Archeops, or whatever they're called, would be they would be below Excadrill. Trubbish and Garbodor are F tier and very bottom F tier because I not just because they're literal trash, but it's like they're actual trash in terms of the game as well. Zorua I would put upper B tier above Timber, and Zoroark would be below Musharna. The Minchino line, Minchino and Chinchino would be bottom C tier. The Gothita, and Gotharita line, I would say that's an S tier. I've always loved them. So they're S tier for me. But their counterpart, I have no idea what they're called. The cells. They're basically cells. They're D tier for me. Upper D tier, but still D tier because they're creepy as fuck and I don't like them. Again, a lot of this is just going to be personal taste. Keep that in mind. Ducklet. I actually like Ducklet. I think it's cute as fuck. I would put it above Tepig. And I would put its evolution Swanna at the very bottom of B tier. The ice cream cone ones would definitely be the top of F tier. They're still the top, though, at least. No, you go before Temple. But each evolution is definitely worse, so it's like, yeah. Deerling is just below Maractus. But Sawsbuck would be C tier, just below Stoutland. Emolga would be B tier. And I would put Emolga just below Darmanitan. Carablast and Caracosta, or whatever their name, I don't even know. The weird little explodey bug would be just below Sawsbuck, with Escavalier top of C tier, but below the fossils. Uh, Fungus and Amoongus are definitely F tier. Top of F tier, but definitely F tier. Um, Frillish and Jellicent, that's what they are. Those ones are D tier under the cells. Alomomola is F tier after Fungus and Amoongus. Joltik, I would actually say, is a really good one. I would put you top of B tier under Munna. And Galvantula would be A tier just before Roggenrola. Ferroseed is bottom of A tier, and Ferrothorn would be just under Cofagrigus because or Cofafag. I don't even know how it's pronounced exactly, but yeah, those ones are actually really good. Clinklane, and or whatever that entire evolutionary line is F tier. I'd put them top of F tier though, with the final evolution at the very top. Um, I don't remember what the first one is, but it evolves into the Electros line and everything. You're F tier, and you're the first evolution is F tier below Timpole, and then the other ones are very top of the D tier. The weird like almost bell like metal idol things. I don't remember their names, but those are C tier. And I would put them very bottom of C tier. Litwick is Litwick I put mid B tier, just above Daywat. Lampent I would put upper B tier, just below Munna. And Chandelure is A tier. Chandelure is top of A tier. Chandelure is actually pretty damn good. Axew would be just under Chandelure with its evolutions after Cofagrigus. Yeah, both of them after Cofagrigus. Cubchoo is D tier under the cells. And in fact, the entire lot, both of them are there, right there. Cryogonal is top of D tier. Shelmet is bottom of D tier. And Shelmet's evolution is right above that. Stunfisk is just above the trash. Mienfoo and Mienshao, that line, is S tier, actually. I actually really love them. But they're bottom of S tier for now. Druddigon. Druddigon, I would say, is upper C tier. In fact, I put it at the top of C tier. The Golurt line would be right after it. Golurt and Golurk or something like that. Poniard, I think, and Bisharp would probably be right between Druddigon and that line. Buffalant is D tier for sure, and I would put it after the Scolipede line. The Braviary line, Rufflets and Braviary, would be C tier. And I'd put them after the fossils, with Braviary edging out Rufflet. Come on. There we go. Meanwhile, the Vullaby line would be below the other fossils. Mandibuzz at the top. I do not remember what this Pokemon is called. It's like the Fire Anteater thing. That one would be after the Ice Bears. Durant is top of D tier. Dino is top of B tier. Zweilous I would put just under Dino, and Hydreigon would be just under Lilligant in A tier. Larvesta, I think is what it's called. Larvesta is top of A tier, and Volcarona is one of the only bugs that will ever be in S tier. Volcarona, I would put above Mienfoo and Mienshao, whichever one's which. Now we get to Cobelion, that entire line. They're all interchangeable to me, and they're all in the top of C tier. I would put them under Druddigon, though. So it doesn't matter which order you consider them in. It's just, yeah, they're all pretty much the same. So are the Onis, Landorus, Thundurus, whatever their names are. They are lesser, though, for sure. I would put them under Golurt and Golurk. Again, you can interchange them. It doesn't matter. They're just not that interesting. Then we get the cover legendaries. Zekrom and Reshiram. Reshiram would probably be just under Yamask. And Zekrom would be just under Reshiram. Kyurem is definitely the worst of them, though. And Kyurem I would put just below Sigilyph. And I'm not going to count like the Mega Kyurems or whatever they're called. Zekrom and Reshiram fusing with them. Keldeo, I love Keldeo. Keldeo would be upper A and just below Larvesta. Meloetta would actually be upper A as well, and just below Keldeo. And Genesect would be B, just below Darmanitan, I would say. And so that's my Gen 5 rankings. My favorite is Maractus, and my least favorite is Garbodor, which is not really a surprise at all. But now we move on to Generation 6, which does not have much Pokemon in it at all. Generation 6, I think, actually had the least amount of new Pokemon. The Chespin line are all Fs. I hate them so much. The Fennekin line is a B, with each evolution being better than the last, I would say. And the Froakie line, I would say Froakie is a C, but its first evolution is lesser than it. And the final evolution, which I should know the name of because it's really popular, I would say is bottom B tier under the Fennekin line. Bunnelby and Diggersby are both D tier. Bunnelby's a little better though because it's at least cute. The Fletchley line, Fletchley, Fletchender, and whatever. I would say they're B tier, below the Fennekin line, and they get better each time too. Scatterbug line is absolute shit. F tier, even worse than the excuse me, even worse than Chespin line. Litleo would probably be C tier, upper C tier, with Pyroar just below that. Um, the Flogis, Flabebe line, all of that would probably be lower C tier. Skidoo is upper C tier, just below Litleo, but Go-Goat is below Pyroar. Pancham is an S tier. No, Pancham's A tier. Pangoro is S tier. Furfrou is F tier. It's a gimmicky Pokemon that's worthless, really, but it's top of F tier. Esper is S tier. But its evolution is C tier, and I would say it's below Pyroar. Honedge line is amazing, and I would put them at the top of S tier. I don't care what anyone says. Aegislash is awesome. Spritzy and Aromatisse would be B tier. I'd put Spritzy just below the birds, and Aromatisse just above that. The cotton candy ones, Swirlix and whatever it evolves into, whatever its name is. Yeah, generations 4 through 6, I obviously just could not get into as much. I cannot even remember a lot of the Pokemon's names. Swirlix would be bottom of the barrel C tier, and its evolution would be actually even below that. Inkay would be A tier, with Malamar as an S tier just below Esper. Barnacle and Barbacore, whatever their names are, that entire evolutionary line is D tier, bottom D tier. Skrelp, that line is upper D tier. Claunch, I think it is middle D tier. It's above the Bunnelby line. Helioptile would be upper B tier, above the birds, with Heliolisk or Heliodisc or whatever it is below Helioptile. Tyrant and Tyrantrum would be upper C tier, with Amoris, I think it is, being just above that. Sylveon would be S tier, in fact, very top of S tier. Hawlucha would be just below Sylveon. Dedenne is top of D tier. Carbink is really good, but I don't like its design, so I would put that as I'd put it between the two fossils for C tier. The Goomy line, amazing though. Goomy is top of A tier. Sliggoo is above Hawlucha, and Goodra's above Sliggoo. I love the uh, Goomy line. Klefki is very bottom of F tier. Phantump, I would put Phantump in A tier above Inkay, and I'd put Trevenant just above Phantump. Um, and kind of the same with the Pumpkaboo line, Pumpkaboo and Gourgeist. I would put, in fact, I put them above even Pancham. Bergmite and Avalugg, though, I would put top of D tier. Noibat would be top of B tier, with Noivern going into the A tier above Pancham. Now we get into the legendaries. Xerneas and Yveltal are both C tier. I would put Xerneas at the top of Z tier, but Yveltal I would put below the Amorous line or whatever they're called. Then you have Zygarde, who I would put at top of D tier. I just never liked Zygarde. Uh, Diancie or whatever it's called would be top of D tier above Zygarde. Hoopla would be top of F tier. It's shit. And these other ones that I can't remember the name of, the like magma one with the ring would be also F tier. And I think this is actually a different Pokemon, so let's put it there. I think. I'm not actually sure because they're all shit. In fact, I think that one's Hoopla and the other one was the other one. Either way, so yeah, for Generation 5, as you can see, my favorite is Sylveon, and my least favorite is Klefki. Or no, Generation 6, sorry. But now we go into Gen 7, where Pokemon started to get good again. Where honestly the renaissance for Pokemon started in my eyes. Rowlet would be B tier, Dartrix just below Rowlet, and Decidueye above Rowlet. Litten I liked better than the Rowlet line, so I'd put it above that in B tier. With its evolutions, I'd actually keep it kind of the same, except Incineroar would be below. In fact, each evolution is a little lesser to me. Poplio is A tier, with both Brionne and Primarina being S tier for me. The Pikipek line would probably be B tier, and I would put them below the Rowlet line. Young Goose would be C tier, and yeah, the Young Goose line would both be C tier. Grubbin is D tier, hardcore. Charjabug is B tier, though. I would put it bottom of B tier, but still. And Vikavolt is definitely A tier. So it's a bug line that really does improve with time. Um, the Crabrawler line, Crabrawler and Abominable or whatever it is, they would probably be C tier above the Young Goose line. The Oricorios, I'm just going to count one Oricorio just to count them all. The Oricorio line, I would put between the Rowlet line and the Litten line. Or, well, not Oricorio line, but you know what I mean. Um, I gotta zoom in just a little bit here. Yeah, there we go. Because I couldn't tell what these ones here were. It's Cutiefly and Rabombi. Cutiefly and Rabombi I actually really like. I would put them in B tier. In fact, I'd put them at the top of B tier. They're actually not that bad in battle, and I like their design. Rockruff would also be B tier, but I'd put it at bottom with both versions of Lycanroc. I'm going to count them together, so I'm just going to use one version of Lycanroc for the sprites and all to count them at. I'm going to use the Nightmare form, or Nighttime, or whatever it's called exactly. I'm going to use that for, I'm going to say that's upper B tier. In fact, I'd put that, yeah, I'd put that at the top. So yeah, I'm just counting the Lycanrocs that way. Wishy-Washy, I'm just going to count both of them together, both the regular solo and school form. I'm going to use school form. Wishy-Washy is definitely A tier. In fact, I'd put it above Vikavolt. Marini, I adore Marini. Marini is S tier for sure. With its evolution, Toxapex or Toxapex, either way, I would put that actually at top of B tier because I just don't like it as much as Marini. But next we get to the Mudsdale line, and I would put them both in A tier. Yeah, with Mudsdale at the top. Da, 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 da. Next, we get to the Dewpider line. And I would put them in C tier, top of C tier, but still C tier. I put Dewpider at the top. Okay, so Fomantis and Lurantis I would put at the top of B tier. Morlul and Shiinotic I would put in A tier, with Shiinotic just below Poplio, because Shiinotic is a beast. Uh, Salandit I would put below Toucanon, with Salazzle just above Salandit. Stuffle is just below Poplio, with Beware just below that. Oh, I can never remember the name of Serena's pre-evolutions because Serena's the only one I really focus on. Excuse me. Bound Sweet, that's it. Bound Sweet would probably be just above Toucanon, with the middle evolution that I can't remember the name of being just below Toxapex or Toxapex. I don't know. And Serena is definitely one of my favorites above Marini. Comfy is an F, the only F we've had so far. Oranguru, I would say, is A tier. And I'd put it above Mudbray. But Passimian, I would put below, just above Lycanroc. Wimpod is a D tier. I'd put it below Grubbin. With Golisopod, Golisopod's pretty beastly. So I would put it at the top of B tier. Sandygast and Palisand, I would put top of, no, not top of C tier. I'd put them mid to lower B tier. I'd put Sandygast just below Dartrix, whatever. No, Dartrix is the middle one. Decidueye. And Palisand just below that. Puku Mewtwo, I've always had a soft spot for some reason. It's not that great in battle, but I like it. It's just fun. I would put that right below Toxapex. And Type Null and Silvally are basically the exact same thing, so I'll just count them together. I would count them in B tier, just above the Litten line. Meteor, which I'll just count one form for, I would say is B tier just below Dartrix. Or not Meteor, Minior or whatever. Komala is F tier just above Comfey. It's kind of worthless in battle, but it's at least got a better design than Comfey. Excuse me. God, what is this Pokemon called? Oh my god. Maybe if I can see it a little closer up, that'll help. It's like the turtle with the flaming shell on its back. I'm not sure. But I would put that, I'm not sure on its name. I would put that at C tier, top of C tier. Not Dedenne. That was the other one. Right? No, or is this one Dedenne? What was the other one? I don't know. Either way, this one, which might be Dedenne, I would put that top of C tier. Mimikyu is definitely S tier, above Brion but below Primarina. Mimikyu is amazing and I love it, and it deserves all the love. Um, this weird ass fish, painted fish thing that I can never remember the name of is F tier, top of F tier, but still. Drampa would be below Poplio. I love Drampa. Delmise would be top of B tier. The Jangmo line would be A tier, above Drampa, I would say. And each one is definitely better than the last. But none of them are quite as good as Poplio. Because Poplio. Then we get into the Tapus. The Tapus would definitely be upper B tier. Better than Galisopod. Um, and I'll put Tapu Koko there. Which one's Tapu Fini? I think the water one is Tapu Fini. I'm not sure, but I know their order based on their looks rather than their names. Cosmog and Cosmoem are both B, and I would put them just above Passimian, with Cosmoem below Cosmog. Solgaleo would be B tier as well, and I would put Solgaleo just below the Tapus, while Lunala would be just above them. And now we get to the Ultra Beasts, which I do not remember most of their names, admittedly. So bear with me here. The jellyfish one that was actually part of the main story, I don't remember the name of. That would probably be below Decidueye. Buzzswole would be bottom of B tier. Pheromosa would be top of B tier, but above or below rather Delmise. The electrical wire one, I don't remember the name of, would be below or above Sandygast. Celesteela would be above the Tapus but below Lunala. The like pointy samurai kind of looking one would be below Toucanon. Guzzlord would be just after the Tapus. This creepy black pointy one would probably be above Passimian. I'm not going to count the like special forms of the legendaries, because they're just special forms of the legendaries, really. I don't know much about Magearna and Mark Shadow and all that, so it's like I'll just put like kind of bottom of B tier, kind of as a safe spot, because I haven't really used them or anything. Or really even seen that other people use them. The big blocky Ultra Beast guy, I would put top of C tier, but yeah, above maybe Dedenne. The clown like one, whose name I cannot remember at the moment, but I always like that one. I would put that below Celesteela. The yellow cat that just had a promotion done for it, Zero Aura, I believe. I would put just above Oricorio in B tier. The Meltan Melmetal line, I would put below Sandygast and Palisand. Okay, now we get to Alolan forms. So Alolan Executor would be B tier, and I would put above Toxapex, and yeah, above Fomantis as well, but not Lurantis. Alolan Marowak would be above that, and in fact above Galisopod. I'm going to shrink this down real quick. Just want to make sure you guys can still see stuff. Alolan Rattata would be B tier for sure, above the Litten line. But Alolan Raticate I would put below Decidueye. Alolan Raichu's pretty damn good. I would put that at the bottom of A tier. Alolan Sandshrew, top of A tier, but below Poplio. Alolan Sandslash below Drampa. Alolan Vulpix is S tier, and Alolan Ninetales. So give me a second. I'll just put them in A tier so I can scroll up. But those are both S tier. Alolan Vulpix I would put after Serena and Alolan Ninetales at the end. Alolan Diglett. Since I remember, I did say I was counting regional variants. Alolan Diglett, I would put below Alolan Executor. Alolan Dugtrio would be below that. Excuse me. Alolan Meowth would be above Alolan Executor, but Alolan Persian would be at the bottom of B tier. Above the ones I don't know much about, though, to be fair. Alolan Geodude would be uh, probably just under Alolan Marowak, with each of its evolutions kind of being lesser just because their designs are kind of stupid to me. Alolan Muck is easy A tier. I would put just below Vikavolt. And Alolan Grimer just... Or Alolan Grimer, I meant. Alolan Muck is just after Alolan Grimer. Because I actually like Alolan Muck a lot more than regular Muck. And so yeah, that's my Generation 7 rankings. As you can see, my favorite is Primarina, who, fun fact, is my favorite Pokemon, period. And my least favorite is Comfey, because Comfey is just fucking lazy and terrible. Admittedly. And hey, I love Generation 7, but I can admit that. And now we move on to the current generation, Generation 8. And the last one we'll be talking about, thank God, because we've been recording this for over 2 hours now, and my throat is starting to get really, really, like, scratchy. So, for some reason, this one's starting with the Galarian form. So, Galarian Meowth, I would put as B tier. Galarian Ponyta is easy S tier, so is Galarian Rapidash. Galarian Farfetch'd is D tier, though I'm not a fan, and Galarian Weezing is F tier. Galarian Mr. Mime I would put as B tier. Galarian Corsola is A. Galarian Zigzagoon did wonders for Zigzagoon, but I wouldn't put it as good as Galarian Meowth. And Galarian Lanoon would be above Galarian Zigzagoon. Galarian Darmanitan would be C tier, and Darumaka would be just above that. I'm only going to count one of the Darumaka forms. Galarian Yamask would be just below the Galarian Zigzagoon. And Galarian Stunfisk would be bottom C tier. It's better than regular Stunfisk, but it's still a Stunfisk. Grookey, definite S tier, but below Galarian Ponyta. Thwackey would be A tier, and Rillaboom would be S tier. Thwackey's just kind of the weak link in the group. Scorbunny is my least favorite of the Galarian starters, and I would put below Galarian Meowth. And its evolutions just get worse. Sobble would be A tier, and it'd be above Thwackey, but its evolutions would be... Drizzile would be below Thwackey, but Inteleon would be above Thwackey. Squavit would be D tier below Galarian Farfetch'd, and its evolution is honestly even worse than it. Okay, so... Oh, what is the first form? I should know this. I've actually played these ones. It's been a while since... And more recently, too. I know Corvisquire and Corviknight, I just can't think of the first one. Rookidee, that's it. Rookidee, my mind was just blanking on that one. Rookidee is A tier for sure. Really good bird Pokemon. I would put it above Thwackey, with Corvisquire above Sobble, and Corviknight would be above Rillaboom. Corviknight is a beast. Blipbug is D tier for sure, below Galarian Farfetch'd, but Dottler moves up to the top of C tier. And the final evolution, whose name is escaping me at the moment, the like UFO Ladybug one, that one would be top of B tier. Why are names escaping me, especially for Pokemon I really like? I know its evolution is Thievul. I know that. It's a cute little fox dude. I can't think of it, but That's definitely an A tier above Sobble, and Thievul is below Rookedy. I don't know why I can't. Maybe it's just because I've been doing this for so long. I haven't eaten yet today and everything, and it's just I'm just kind of like I need something to kind of refuel myself at this moment. Maybe that's it. Gossiflor. Gossiflor would be under Galarian Farfetch'd in D. Eldegoss would be above the Darmanitan line in C, Galarian Darmanitan line. Wooloo, easy A tier. I would say it's above Sobble. But Dubwool, I would put only in B tier above the Scorbunny line. Choodle is top of C tier, but below Dottler. And Dreadnought is above that. No. Switch them around. Yamper is easy S tier. In fact, Yamper I would put above Corviknight. And Boltund I would actually put just after it. I would put it above it because it's better, but Yamper is just so fucking cute. I can't put it after Boltund. Roly-Coly I would put in at the very top of C tier. With Carkol coming at just above Scorbunny. And I would put its evolution, whose name is escaping me as well at the moment, Colossal. Another kaiju Pokemon, by the way. Would definitely be A tier and above Corvisquire. Let's see here. Applin would be B tier, below Galarian Meowth, with its evolutions just above it. Silicobra would be just above Galarian Meowth, but Sandaconda would be below Galarian Meowth. Cramorant I love because it's derpy as fuck, but it's not good in battle. But I would still put it in B tier, and I'd put it below Galarian Meowth, just because I love it's just derpy as fuck, and I love that. Arrokuda I would put below Sandaconda and Barraskewda above that. The baby one, who's Toxel? Yeah, Toxel. I would put below the Scorbunny line. But its evolution, I would put at the very top of B tier. And I'm only going to count one of the forms just to keep it up there because they're both pretty much the same. Sizzlipede line would be A tier and above Thwackey, with the evolution being at the top. Clobopus line would be just above Silicobra. But I put Clobopus first because I think it's cuter. Poltegeist is honestly a D tier. I'm not a fan of Poltegeist, but it's the top of the D tiers. Poltegeist, both of the evolutions. Hatenna's very top of B tier, with each evolution being better. But Impidimp, I would say Impidimp is S tier. Morgrem is under Galarian Coleslaw in A tier because it's kind of the weak link of the group. But Grimmsnarl is amazing. I'd put it above Rillaboom. Next we have Obstagoon. Obstagoon I would put below Hatenna in B tier. Berserker, the evolution of Galarian Meowth, I would actually put in the number 2 spot of B rank. Galarian Corsola's evolution, I would put just above it in A rank. Mr. Rhyme would be just above the Applin line. Sirfetch'd, rather. Sirfetch'd is just above Galarian. No, just below Galarian Farfetch'd, because it's kind of ridiculous. Galarian Cofagrigus would be just below Berserker. Milcery, or Milcery, however you want to pronounce it, would be just above Cramorant. with its evolution just above that, Alcremie. Uh, I don't love this thing. This thing is F tier to me. Um, I like Galarian Weezing more, but I don't like how I can't even remember its name because I try to forget about it a lot. The one that kind of like is in the military formation that has multiple different living creatures in one. I don't like it because of that. Pincurchin would be top of D tier. Snom would be actually above Pincurchin, with Frosmoth at the very top of B tier. Stonjourner would be below the Poltegeist line, but before Galarian Farfetch'd. With Ice I would put below the or above Blipbug. And I'm just gonna, I'm gonna use this version of Ice for the example. Indeedee, I'm not a fan of Indeedee, but they're not the worst, so I'd put them below. I'd put them below Snom. Excuse me. Morpeko is one of the better Pikachu clones. I would put it above Galarian Cofagrigus. Qfant, I would put that above Obstagoon, with Caparaja just below Morpeko. Then we get into the fossil monstrosities, which all of them you could kind of count within the same range, and I would put them all at the top of B tier, but below or just above Berserker. So the order, I'll put you there, I'll put you above that, then you, and you are definitely at the bottom. So next we get into the dragon that's not a dragon, it's just a steel tower. I can't remember its name at the moment, but you're top of C tier. Dreepy is definitely A tier. I would put above Morgrem. And I would put its evolution after Morgrem, but the final one, Dragapult, would be bottom of S tier. Zacian, I'm just going to count one of their forms for each, Zacian and Zamazenta. They're both A tier. Zacian I would put just below Inteleon. So move out of the way, Rookity. And Zamazenta I would put just below Thievul. Why can I not remember you? This creepy ass poison dragon that I can't remember the name of at the moment would definitely be A tier above the Sizzlipede line. I'm not going to count, by the way, Gigantamax forms either, like I said, so just skipping past all of those, we're actually done. So my favorite Pokemon of Generation 8, as you can see, is Galarian Ponyta, with my least favorite being Galarian Weezing. And so, yeah, that is it. That is all the Pokemon, not counting like Mega Evolutions or Gigantamax forms, but counting regional variants still. And that is my rankings for them. Like I already said, my favorite Pokemon of all time is Primarina. And if I were to say what my least favorite of all time would be, it would probably be Unknown. Because Unknown is just literally pointless. It is worthless. It is pure gimmick, and the gimmick isn't even good. It is worthless in battle. Its design is shit. It's not good. It was utilized well in the third movie, but that's about it. But other than that, yeah. So that is my rankings for all Pokemon from generations 1 through 8. So yeah, tell me what some of your favorite Pokemon are down in the comments below. And if you want to tell me like what your favorites are for each generation, or your least favorites for each generation, or even both, let me know that as well. However you want to do that. Thank you for tuning into this video. Either way, especially for it being 2.5 hours. Even if you had to watch it like, oh, I'll watch a little bit at a time here and there, that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that because this is a long as fuck video. So thank you so much. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.